things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis. Go sis.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. Happy Friday. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show's called First Things First. I'm a first thing every day, giving thanksgiving, praise, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's go. Hour 1, we do local left coast, where you stay at. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest on a topic like today, in honor of Mother's Day coming up in just a week, a little over a week. We will be talking with Single Moms Planet Nefertari and find out about, what advances single moms in America, especially Black single moms, are making. And my partner in politics today is a labor organizer and activist, Sherry Bell. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. Seems like it was a really long week, but a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. It's Friday, first thing in the morning. Like to get people started with something encouraging, something progressive. Mm-hmm. And you were at the meeting last night, Black Lives Matter LA, and the group called the People's Budget LA, which is a coalition of a whole bunch of different community-based organizations in LA, met with the mayor. What'd you think?
Well, I thought it was a productive meeting. I thought that she was very engaged and present throughout. She could have been a lot of places in the city, and she was there. What I took away from it was that, the survey was great, for folks out there that want to take the survey. I'm sure we can figure out how to get them that information. It's still available. But I took away that she understands that, the majority of homeless people are Black, right? She understands that that Black people need access to these thousands, hundreds or something of city jobs. She understands that every community might want different things, not every one size fits all solution. But, I gathered that some things she put in the budget are, beneficial, like want to increase the salary for intervention workers who, do great work. I think she put a lot of things in the budget that are great, but any additional things that are not in there, it's we have to do what we always do, and that is advocate, organize, and fight for those dollar amounts. So I think that on her own, her initiative on her own, I think the budget is cool. I mean, yeah, we're not always going to agree on the investment in police, and we don't want a lot of times people in Black communities don't want a lot of police in our communities because of the way they treat us.
Right. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer, because what the function they serve in many of our neighborhoods is not the same as the function they serve in Bel Air. Just isn't. And so it's even hard to evaluate. And I think that's one reason why it's so difficult for more well-resourced communities to understand the relationship with police that many low-income communities have, and especially Black people. I mean, elephant in the room alert. I mean, right. So that's one of the reasons why there's this huge gap And I thought it was a really good meeting. Dr. David Turner, who was on the show yesterday, made a great presentation. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet, Dr. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet also. And like you said, it was based on the data. It was based on what people who filled out the survey, which is at peoplesbudgetla.com/survey.
Bam.
You can still fill it out. What their trend lines were, what the majority of people want us to spend more money on, our tax dollars,
right,
and what we want to spend less money on. I think Dr. Jones-Jolivet did a great job of sort of painting the big picture of how the struggle has gone. And Dr. Melina Abdullah, too, just the way that the whole idea of defunding the police, or really which is really meaning reallocate resources in a radical way to prioritize care over a carceral system.
Yeah,
that's really what it means. You can get your panties in a bunch about the phraseology, but that's really what it means. And I think she did a good job breaking down the evolution of that.
Yeah, and I liked how Dr. David Turner talked about how a lot of waste goes into the police budget as well. Like the amount of 911 calls were actually from police.
He said, according to their data, 50% of the 911 calls coming in are from cops.
Right.
I didn't even know cops called 911.
Me neither.
You're the cops. Why are you calling them? You're calling yourself. I mean, calling for backup. I guess maybe, ambulances or something like that. That makes sense. I'm at an alleged crime scene and there's someone in need of an ambulance. But 50% of calls?
Right.
That's insane.
Right. And yeah, that is insane.
He also broke down, well, I think you were probably going where I was just thinking, which is he broke down how much of that 911 emergency personnel is going to traffic.
Right. Traffic, and a small percentage actually go to violent calls.
8%, he said. 8%. See? So, you're thinking when people call 911, it's a murder, it's a robbery. That apparently, according to the data that UCLA is looking at, that's just 8% of calls. That means those other 92% of calls are traffic. And that, to me, made a strong argument for why we need to reallocate resources.
Absolutely. And, what worked in the past, or may have been stated to work in the past, is not working now. So it's like, why do you keep, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results? We keep giving millions and millions of money to the police, and nothing has really changed. They're actually policing issues that are the root cause of them. Like the root cause of the issues that people are quote unquote policing, LAPD is policing, could be addressed with investment in these issues, such as investment in our local schools, putting arts and trades back in there, making it so parents don't have to work so hard and working 2 and 3 jobs. They could be at home with their kids and making sure their kids are taught the right way throughout life. A lot of these kids are latchkey kids. They grow up not really having the guidance. So it's we need to invest in child development. They was child development is $10 million for the whole city of LA.
Out of a $13 billion budget, $13.5 billion budget. Yeah, it was an interesting meeting. I think it was, I'll say it, a contrast from our prior mayor who did not want to take those meetings, our prior DA who did not want to take those meetings. It was open to the public, standing room only, and thank you to everyone who came out, because it's also important to show, look, we care. You want to listen to what we have to say, we want to show up and say it. And I think that the mayor deserves credit for answering everyone's questions so patiently, bringing a couple of her deputy mayors with her on public safety and community safety, and really taking time to go and explore these issues. It's a great day to call. It's Friday, 800-920-1580. Me and Sherry we won't be mean. We'll be nice.
Don't be shy.
Probably. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Congratulations to Grace Memorial Chapel and Funeral Home for being this week's winner of KBLA's Office of the Week. Your office won lunch for 10, delivered by the original Taco Pete. Congratulations to Grace Memorial Chapel and Funeral Home.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time, which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Sherry Bell is with me. And, it was the other thing I loved about last night's meeting. Number one, it was the second meeting between the mayor and all these different organizations. The first one took place at the Sentinel. I was there. I was emceeing last night. Okay. Yeah. At the Sentinel, I was just kind of observing because they didn't need an MC. It was quite, it was private.
Okay.
And then this one was open to the public, and the mayor made it clear she'd be doing it again. So it's not like, you'll have access to her only when she's campaigning.
A big difference. And I heard they're going to be having these listening sessions around the city as well regarding like what the community wants and, feels like it should be prioritized. So got to keep a lookout for those.
Yeah, they listed them last night. I gotta get the notes that I have somewhere about where to find that because they're coming up in May, and they're listening sessions. No, wait, I'm conflating two things. So there's going to be listening sessions that you talked about, but right now there's opportunities in May to weigh in on the budget. Because remember, she said she was talking about, lobby for what you want, and then somebody asked, well, how do we do that? And they said there were a number of dates coming up in May, which I will get, and we will be announcing so that you could do it online or in person to go and give your feedback on the budget.
Right, because at this point, it's just a proposed budget.
Yeah, until May 31st when the city council will approve it with whatever changes are made to it. So it's a great opportunity. Of course, everything's not perfect.
Right.
There was disagreement, although Overall investment in law enforcement is down. It's still a pretty big piece of the budget. It was like at 43% of discretionary funds, which are funds you could use for whatever you want. 43% now on law enforcement.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And another big chunk on fire. But again, folks showed up with the data, showed out, and I think that at least they got a listening ear and to get the consideration of being considered.
Right. That ought to feel great, that you have some agency and input, and that's a lot different from the past, especially when you look back at TV and looked at other mayors of Los Angeles and how they described black people on TV and using racist language and saying it's okay for us to get put in a chokehold because we not human. Sam, that Yorty guy, he was
right.
Right. So now we got a mayor that's a total 180 that's in the community and making herself available. And I think that we gotta, we gotta work with Mayor Bass.
She said that Yorty guy. She's talking about Mayor Sam Yorty.
Oh man!
But the famous racist.
Yeah.
But even sitting in the room, and I think it was a good day for Black America, a good day for Black LA, and for LA in general. Because if you even look at the interaction, so many people there already have their relationships with the mayor from activism.
Right.
Over the years. And so it's not like, this is Leimert Park. And I think the first public event at the Center for Black Power was a nice moment too.
So great. Like BLMLA has their own space in the heart of Leimert Park. And they can't be priced out,
Yeah, they bought it outright.
Right,
they bought the whole building, no mortgage.
So
and I think I like to point out for those who don't know the difference between Black Lives Matter chapters, Black Lives Matter grassroots, and Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. The Global Network Foundation is the one that Black Lives Matter grassroots is suing, right? Because they took the money. They're the ones that bought the building in North Hollywood, which it's a foundation. They could buy a building, but why would you buy a fancy building like that? And then Black Lives Matter LA buys a building right on Leimert Park, next to the metro station, and all these different organizations are using it for food and clothing giveaways, for meetings, for arts and culture. They're going to have free capoeira classes for the community, all kinds of stuff. So, what a contrast!
Right. Let's just continue to support and make them make this organization grow, because really on the ground doing the work. Black Lives Matter grassroots. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, there was a good good turnout. Also, I think the fact that the mayor knew the history of that building. Right, that building used to be owned by an arms dealer who stored weaponry there. And
I was shocked when I heard about that in the newspaper, that was happening right in Leimert Park.
Yeah, but that's been there that was like going back to the 90s, right? Because I remember people complaining about it, and we can't get this arms dealer out of here, and they were storing weapons across the street. So it was a huge victory for the community to actually get a hold of that building and turn it into something productive. Yep. Let's go to Tracy calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, ladies. It was awesome seeing you guys last night. The meeting was amazing. I already knew that Mayor Bass was a powerful woman, but it was just amazing to actually hear her and be there. I didn't know she was going to be there. I heard about the meeting yesterday morning on your show, and I decided to show up, but I had no idea she was going to be there. So that was, made it even better. And the fact that she took the time to listen to her constituents.
Yeah.
We don't get that, especially in our communities. And I don't live in that area anymore, but I grew up over there. And so it was just good to see that she was listening and that she had thoughtful answers to our questions.
Yeah. It wasn't just a lot of politics, pablum, word salad stuff.
Right. She wasn't there to, and she's like, look, I can't do everything, but I can listen to you, and I need your help. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think that's the best part, because I remember her talking about that during her campaign and when she did the State of the City address a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
She's like, y'all can complain all you want, but if you don't come and talk to me, then and let me know what you want and what we need, then she didn't say shut up, but she kind of said.
But you did, Tracy.
But yeah, I did. But what Grandma used to say, a closed mouth don't get fed.
That's right. I think that's the biggest mistake most of us made when President Barack Obama was elected. Oh, yay, we finally elected a black president. And we took our foot off the gas for a second, which makes it harder for him to get his job done.
Right.
I mean, if we're up there advocating, saying, clearly when you look at the people's budget numbers, you were there, Tracy, youth development is an area that needs more investment. Mental health, even with the increased investment in the mayor's budget, needs more investment. But if we don't show up in those rooms and spaces, those rooms and Zooms, and, and make it easier for her to give us what we need by making it clear that that's what we need, then how can we expect her to get the job done?
Especially like with the summer, I'm old enough to remember summer programs, youth summer employment programs.
Yes.
We had those when I was growing up in the 80s. When Tom Bradley was mayor. Isn't it amazing that it's like coming full circle. We haven't had, a mayor this invested in our community for over, 30 some odd years. And then we have a black woman who is almost coming back to the days, hearkening to the days of Mayor Bradley and Hahn. And you think about the fact that, so we got Karen Bass working with the daughter of Kenneth Hahn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take all credit away from Villaraigosa. I mean, the Summer Night Lights and all that was launched on his watch, and he did some great things. But I feel you, Tracy, especially for Black LA.
Right.
Yes. I mean, like I said, I've lived here all my life, 57 years. And so I've seen what LA can do, and I've seen the program that we had back in the day, and the investments in our communities that I did grow up in. And so I'm excited. I'm almost to the point that I remember that I never would have left LA had we had the investments and in our infrastructure in our community that we had when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s.
That's a great point. I think a lot of people wouldn't have left LA, and maybe we'd still have more black people around here.
But we wouldn't be, being displaced and gentrified out.
Yeah.
So it's just like I said, when we step up and show out and show up and show out, we people listen.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, it's a lot of good points, and I also appreciate the fact that the mayor said, look, we're not going to agree on everything. I don't agree on this. Some of the neighborhoods, I'm the mayor for everybody. Some neighborhoods want more cops, some don't. We're going to try to figure that out and give people what they want. But she was not like sitting up here doing that. Oh, I agree with everything you say, and then turn around and get into City Hall and do none of what we say.
Right. I saw her taking a lot of notes.
Yeah.
The whole time. When everybody was saying, she just was writing everything down. So
yeah, that's always good. Okay, it's time for news, traffic, and sports. And then it's still time for you to call 800-920-1580. Happy Friday from me and Sherry and KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The White House is urging Americans living in Sudan to leave the country within the next 24 to 48 hours. White House Press Secretary, African-American Karine Jean-Pierre.
The situation could deteriorate at any moment, and we are communicating with citizens who have requested information about those options. Any option entails a degree of risk.
A temporary ceasefire was extended yesterday, but Jean-Pierre said there's been an increase in ceasefire violations. An accuser who's suing Donald Trump for defamation is telling a New York jury that he raped her in the mid-1990s. E. Jean Carroll was on the witness stand Thursday and was cross-examined by Trump's lawyers, who grilled her about why she didn't scream during the alleged rape. The trial resumes on Monday. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers tonight will play the most important game for the franchise in recent memory. They face a must-win situation in Game 6 to close out Memphis. The odds of winning Game 7 in Memphis on Sunday are not good. LeBron is determined to make up for a bad performance in Game 5. Tip-off at 7:30 on ESPN. The culture continues to change for quarterbacks in the NFL. 3 black quarterbacks were selected among the first 4 picks in the first round of the NFL draft. Bryce Young to Carolina, C.J. Stroud to Houston, and Anthony Richardson to Indianapolis. The Chargers at number 21 selected wide receiver Quentin Johnson of Texas Christian. USC wide receiver Jordan Addison went to Minnesota at number 23. The Rams will make their first selection today. They have the 5th pick in the second round. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tell me I'm the boy that girl.
I'm young, gifted, and black. At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hey there, I'm Jared Hill, president of the National Association of Black Journalists of Los Angeles, and I just want to say thank you for the benevolent $10,000 donation and scholarships for the next generation of black journalists.
And I'm Haywood Galbraith, photojournalist and founder of the Minority Photojournalism Institute. Thanks, KBLA, for your generous $10,000 scholarship gift to help us train the next generation of black photojournalists.
Congratulations to all the students who will benefit from the scholarship dollars raised at our Black History Month luncheon, honoring black legends in LA media. When we come forward at KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates U.S. Olympic gold medalist and Hall of Famer Jeanette Bolden Pickens, owner of the 27th Street Bakery. 27th Street Bakery sends a huge thank you to the community for all its support during the pandemic, serving the Los Angeles community with their signature sweet potato pie since 1956 and third-generation baker. The goal has never changed. Keep the business thriving for generations to come. Made with the freshest ingredients in each yam peeled by hand. 27th Street Bakery puts the home back in homemade with its signature vanilla added to all its amazing products, pies, cakes, cobblers, tea cakes, and the newest item, creamy sweet potato cheesecake. Call 323-233-3469. That's 323-233-3469. Have your order shipped by visiting 27thstreetbakery.com or stop by 2700 South Central Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90001, Tuesdays through Saturdays, 8 to 4.
The FAA will be hiring air traffic controllers soon. Applications open June 24th through June 27th. If you know someone between the ages of 18 and 30 who might be interested, please tell them to go to www.faa.gov/BE-ATC to apply today. The salary range is $103,000 to $164,000. There's also paid training and school. Again, that's www.faa.gov/BE-ATC. Again, that's www.faa.gov/BE-ATC to apply to be an air traffic controller. This community call to action is brought to you by the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals and KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, Sherry Bell is here like she is every other Friday, and we're on YouTube, KBLA 1580. That's where we are on YouTube and all social media. Follow, like, and etc. Sherry De La Ghetto on Instagram. Is that you on Twitter too?
No, you know what? Twitter, my brain, I don't know. I guess it's like, no. I'm on Twitter at Sherry Bell BWC. I rarely use Twitter.
As in Black Worker Center. Right,
Yeah.
right. So Instagram and Facebook?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram is with TikTok?
You know what? My daughter, she uninstalled TikTok.
On your phone. That's funny. Why is there a conspiracy that young people, the Generation Z, they don't want their parents on TikTok?
I guess so, because she was like, I guess she just found it too gross or something that I was on TikTok.
Yeah, because I've heard that from a number of parents. My children don't want, in fact, Dr. Abdullah said that, my children don't want me on TikTok. I'm like, what are they hiding? Quick, let's get on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Juliet calling us from Watts. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. I've been waking up early with you for a long time. And
Thank you.
Monty Bell, like she said, just want to give a shout out to Higher Power. And I'm from the Central Avenue corridor, and I love the way you guys you always bring truth. And I'm going to explain one thing about students, the black students, but it's the SAT.
You know what? Your phone is breaking up. Are you talking about the Black Student Achievement Plan? Is that where we were going? Yeah, if there's one foot you can stand on that makes your phone sound better or something, do that, because you were going in and out a little bit. I really want to hear what you have to say. Because the Black Student Achievement Plan is something that the students fought for through LA Students Deserve, reallocating money from school police, which they did not want, and a big chunk of that money was meant to help close that gap with black students.
Nice.
And now we're going to have to keep fighting for it every single time because, the school board is not automatically going to invest in black students. Students had to fight for that. Juliet, you back?
Can you hear me better now?
Much better. Is that what you were talking about, the Black Student Achievement Program?
Yes, because our students need to be educated, not taught, but just educated on our unique, I don't want to sound, I get kind of frustrated when they say, black and brown, black and we have our own unique culture, rituals, traditions, spirituality, our own struggles that need to be identified and inspired to inspire our youth, because what they see now is a lot different from what I saw in the 60s coming up in the Black Panther area on Central Avenue with all of the good things that we had with Mayor Bradley. I remember when Mervyn Diamondley was a big Mervyn Diamondley, Kenneth Houghton, Ted Watkins, the Watts Festival, after the Watts Revolt in 65, because I'm that old. That young, all of that, and we had a lot with the WLCAC, and we're being, I think, kind of like put to the side for other issues, and it's always like somebody standing in line and somebody puts, get in front of you, and then they let somebody get in front of them, they let somebody get in front of them, and it's like, no, time is up, so playtime is over.
Yeah.
Our children.
Well, Juliet, I mean, one thing that I think is that it's good you started with the Black Student Achievement Program, because that is exactly the kind of carve out we need, where we address the issues of our children specifically. Right. And it doesn't have to be either or. There's enough money for everybody, but I think you're right. If you're going to have an ESL program, then we need a BSAP. Juliet, you there?
Children and grandchildren now, they coming up with children that speak Spanish, ain't that bilingual, and they can't even get jobs with them because they working in a hostile environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a changing landscape in LA, and I think that's one reason why what you're saying is spot on. We have to fight for our specific needs.
BSAP. That's my main point, and I just love Molly Bell.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to hear from her sometime today. She likes to call in on Friday.
We used to talk to you all the time, early in the morning. I love Molly.
Yes, indeed, we love her too.
Yeah, but you make some good points, Juliet, and we shouldn't have to give up anything in order to help everybody. Like intentional effort in our community, educating our youth and reallocating resources to address our needs is something that we should unapologetically advocate for with the mayor or whoever's in decision-making powers at all times. So I agree, and we always got to keep that in mind.
Exactly. And we're going to do it. We have just a few righteous elders, handling their business and passing on the information and extending the knowledge like you guys are doing and keeping it in the forefront. Because it ain't for everybody, but everybody makes it doing a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. And may he rest in power, Mr. Harry Belafonte.
Yes, indeed. R.I.P. Harry Belafonte. Thank you, Juliet. Hope you'll call again, and I'm glad to know you're with us, part of the delegation. We're going to go to Jerry calling us from Beverly Hills. Hi, Jerry.
Oh, hi. Good morning. I'm a little confused about this Emmett Till. What was his name? In 1955, they murdered him. What was his name?
You're just saying you're confused because the woman who accused him died on yesterday.
Yeah.
The woman who was basically responsible for his legal lynching died on yesterday. What's confusing a lot, because a lot of people are like, don't rest in peace, go straight to hell.
What happened to the men who killed them?
Nothing. They got away with it.
Why didn't they prosecute them?
Racism.
The men who killed them.
Racism.
Oh, that's terrible. They should have been prosecuted.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. And so should she have. She is the one who accused Emmett Till of attacking her when, he and stuck by her story. She recanted supposedly to one interviewer in a documentary, but then she never stepped forward and took responsibility. I heard some old, let's just leave it at a hotep, saying that she faked her death to avoid accountability. The lady was 88. She never had accountability. Why would she have to fake her own death? White supremacy and white privilege gave her a shield, and she didn't need to fake her death.
Yeah, I mean, she accused them of whistling. Nobody should be killed for whistling, or he whistled at her, but nobody should be killed for that.
Yeah, well, this is in Mississippi,
She could have identified the killers.
Mississippi, 1950s, right? It's a totally different dynamic.
I think it was.
Yeah, 55, that's right.
I remember hearing about it. The kid was about my age in 1955. Well, that's terrible.
Yeah. It's appalling.
Yeah, Carolyn Brandt Dunham is her name. She passed away at 88 yesterday.
But in recent times, there was talk about reintroducing charges against her for lying.
Right.
And the state that she resides in declined to prosecute her.
Right. That's right. And so that's why I'm saying she didn't need to fake her death. She had a
protection,
a shield known as white privilege.
Right.
And it stretched from 1955 to 2023. Mm-hmm. And, I don't, they say don't speak ill of the dead, but we spoke ill of her while she was alive, too. Right. I mean, that was one of the most horrific, it was common, but we saw it, right? Because Emmett Till's mom, insisted on that open casket funeral for her son. And I think it did move the needle.
Right. It did. Yeah. And like Jerry was saying, like, all of these things sound appalling and shocking, but not really when you take in the time frame and like who was accused, right? If it was like a little white kid who whistled at, someone else, like it would have been a big trial, a big sentencing. But it goes to show that this is what we're fighting up against till this day. We're still fighting against that sentiment, and we just got to stay hyper vigilant and don't take our foot off the gas.
And again, Jerry, that those folks who killed Emmett Till, they have ties to the KKK. So it's not like I'm just saying racism like some, because I am accusing everyone of racism. Like we're talking about KKK level racism. So yeah, a lot of people were celebrating the death of Carolyn Bryant on yesterday, and maybe that's why it felt confusing. It's a great time to call us. Sherry Bell, Dominique DePrima, Miles Lowe's over there too, pushing buttons. 800-920-1580 is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Governor Newsom and advocates at impasse over funding for black students. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry. Story courtesy of CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Mid-April, the Black in School Coalition met, and there were over 2,500 K-12 students, parents, and education advocates, plus civil rights leaders, marched to the California State Capitol to demand increased funding for black students in the state's public schools. They were all calling on the governor and California legislature to not move forward with the equity multiplier in Newsom's education budget, which was made to substitute AB 2774, which would have granted funding for the state's lowest performing group, black students. But advocates say Newsom's proposal falls short of that goal. All in all, the Black in School Coalition is calling for more support for black students in California schools.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America N.A.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so I'm like, did I skip the Swahili word of the week this week? No, I didn't. It's called tarehe, which is the word for history.
Oh, wow.
In case you're in, South Africa, East Africa, get to know these Swahili words. Tarehe. Swahili's fun, by the way. All right, so, Sherry Bell is with me. I'm Dominique DePrima. Sherry was there. I didn't know you were going to be there.
Oh.
I love the fact that people were so mobilized because, like you said, there was not a lot of advertising about this.
Right.
And people showed up with standing room only.
Yes, people showed up with like a day's notice, same day notice. They was like, oh, wow. And honestly, we didn't know the mayor was going to be there. I just came because I took the survey. and I wanted to see the unveiling of the results, and it was well attended. Not only was Karen Bass there, Councilwoman Heather Hudd.
Yes, and that was in her district. The Center for Black Power is in her district.
As she should be there, right? And Isaac Bryan.
The assembly member from that area.
Right, and other staffers were there and invested in open and willing to hear. And I think everybody really genuinely is tired of the BS, and we went through a lot of BS earlier this year with that whole leak with was that last year? Herrera and Martinez.
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It seems like only yesterday.
Right. Like, I mean, at this point, the city council should just be like, here, take what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, they shouldn't give her no pushback, because a lot of most of what the budget is, a lot of it is to address the conditions in our community that needs the help. So I feel like the city council owes it to Black residents to address the conditions that impact us. And this is one of the things I appreciated that Karen Bass lifted up. And she was like, when you help Black residents, you help everybody, because historically Black people have been the most discriminated against. So if you address the discrimination or the lack of investment that Black residents are experiencing, you are literally raising the bar, right, for everyone. So that's why it's important to pay attention to that. Because it can't, it can't get much worse,
Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a salient point that she was comparing the crack cocaine situation that her organization that she found a community coalition addressing to the houselessness crisis, because it really both ended up with the criminalization of poor people.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I really appreciate that, because it's true. And when you look at the majority of people who are unhoused on the street, they are Black, especially when you go to Skid Row. It's heartbreaking. We do need a lot of investment. I'm glad to hear that they were talking about alternative responses to mental health calls. I mean, I personally have had, and a lot of people I'm pretty sure have had, a loved one experiencing a mental health crisis, and we call the police because we don't know what else to do, or we'll try to call the SMART team, but they'd be like, oh, well, we can't get out there until tomorrow.
Right. That the crisis is happening now. Yeah. So the mayor was talking about maybe some of these rotating medical internships when people get out of nursing or doctor school, bringing those folks in to work with the response teams, or work with, the 988 response teams and such, because we have such trouble apparently getting the personnel to staff up those lines and respond. And she's looking at, and this is where her being a former medical professional helps. So she's, we can maybe tap some folks from over here, recruit people from there, and get those lines and units staffed up.
Right.
Yeah, we're taking your phone calls. 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Move it, nerds! Here at NerdWallet, we often see people wrestle with financial decisions.
Mike is in the ring, up against his nemesis, indecision. Mike can't decide the best way to save his money, and indecision has him boxed in. But wait, Mike tagged in NerdWallet!
Whew, let's go. With NerdWallet side-by-side comparisons, you can find a high-yield savings account with interest rates that earn more bank for your buck. So the next time you wrestle with a financial decision, you'll come out on top. NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Sherry Bell is our guest. She's actually a contributor now to KBLA. I'm Dominique DePrima. Hopefully you know that. Let's go to Wacky calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning.
Oh, this is Wacky. Dominique DePrima, my beautiful sister. I love you first and foremost. I beef with you. I beef with you, though.
That's all right. We always beef with the ones we love.
Oh, absolutely, right. And again, your guest name, because I want to address her. I'm sorry.
Oh, Sherry Bell.
Sherry, thank you, Sherry Bell. Good morning, beautiful sister.
Good morning.
Beautiful as well. But I was just calling. First things first, let me just say this here. The issue with Karen Bass and the closed mouths don't get fed scenario. I mean, my situation is she knows what we need. Don't you believe that? I mean, isn't that fair to say? I'm pretty sure if she's the voice for the people, she knows who we are. She has the position, the budget. If I ask for something, I don't even know if I'm eligible to ask for that. She knows what's eligible. So can she speak for us and ask for it or demand that it be done? Not that I'm ragging on her or saying she's not doing the right thing. But if we voted her in, we did that based on her knowledge and experience. So we're giving you the driver's seat as if compared to a lawyer. Like you give your lawyer.
I feel you. I think you're right. She does know a lot of what we need. But the thing about it is, it's what the point I was making about Barack Obama. If we would have been marching when Barack Obama was president, like we did in 2020, we would have got a lot more done because we are the wind beneath their wings. I think she pointed out she's mayor for every neighborhood. Some neighborhoods want more cops. Sherman Oaks, for example, she was in a meeting there. They want more cops. So if we don't speak up, we make it harder for her to fight for the things we want.
I respect that, Miss Dominique, but you were one of the biggest advocates to say, back in the day, keep in mind, I've been with you a long time. You used to say this. I'm not going to quote you verbatim, but this is the synopsis of what you used to say. Why should Barack have to be the one to speak on reparations?
Yeah.
That's what you used to say.
I still say that. I still say that. We want the black one to do everything. But to me, that's why, why couldn't Joe Biden do it? I wasn't saying we shouldn't have reparations.
Because he's not us.
Why couldn't Trump do it? Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, but being the first black president comes with a whole bunch of other stuff. Being the first black woman mayor, I'm not saying we give them a pass, but I'm saying if we expect them to solve every problem in the black community since our enslavement, that's why are we not having the same demands of every politician?
He's going to solve every problem. Miss Dominique, hear me out, please.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to hold that thought. I would love to hear you out, but we're right up against news, traffic, and sports, so I would love to hear you out after that. Sherry Bell, time flies when you come in on Fridays.
Oh, my gosh, I know. Man, wacky, is it?
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to hear what the conclusion it is, because I got my own thoughts on it, but maybe we'll get to it another time.
All right, well, maybe we'll get to them. I don't know if you got a couple minutes. Maybe you want to stay and say those thoughts. We got news, traffic, and sports right now. Sherry Bell, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network.
The White House is urging Americans living in Sudan to leave the country within the next 24 to 48 hours. White House Press Secretary, African-American Karine Jean-Pierre.
The situation could deteriorate at any moment, and we are communicating with citizens who have requested information about those options. Any option entails a degree of risk.
A temporary ceasefire was extended yesterday, but Jean-Pierre said there's been an increase in ceasefire violations. An accuser who's suing Donald Trump for defamation